Welcome to our deep dive into the potential pros and cons of America taking over Greenland. Now, before you grab your red Sharpie and start redrawing the world map, let's be clear, this isn't about some sort of imperial land grab, no matter what certain former presidents might mutter from their golf courses. It's about exploring a hypothetical scenario, one that's been whispered about in diplomatic circles and, let's be honest, probably dreamt about by a few defense contractors who salivate at the thought of a new aircraft carrier the size of an ice shelf. We're going to be unpacking the history of this frosty proposition, from the Cold War whispers to the more recent, and let's be honest, slightly unhinged pronouncements from you-know-who, because frankly, the idea of the US annexing an island 3 times the size of Texas, owned by a perfectly lovely Scandinavian country, is just bonkers enough to warrant a closer look. So buckle up, grab your warmest parka, and let's dive headfirst into the potential geopolitical blizzard that is America takes over Greenland. Now, if you look at a map, and let's be honest, most Americans probably couldn't pick Greenland out of a police lineup of frozen desserts, you'll see it sits in a rather, shall we say, strategically significant location. We're talking smack dab in the middle of the North Atlantic, a stone's throw from our friends in Canada, and with a clear view of those lovable scamps in Russia. And as the Arctic ice melts faster than a popsicle in a sauna, those shipping lanes are opening up, making Greenland the maritime equivalent of a prime piece of beachfront real estate. Suddenly, the idea of a few strategically placed military bases doesn't seem so far-fetched. Imagine being able to monitor Russian submarine activity from your, let's say, scientific research station nestled conveniently within earshot. It's like setting up a lawn chair right outside your nemesis's window, except instead of borrowing sugar, you're borrowing, well, the ability to hear their every move. And let's not forget the potential for missile defense systems, just in case someone gets any funny ideas about lobbing warheads across the pole. But before we start measuring Uncle Sam for a new parka, let's not forget about the current residents of this frozen paradise, the good people of Greenland, and their not so thrilled about this whole thing parent country, Denmark. Because, let's be honest, casually annexing a chunk of another country's territory in the 21st century isn't exactly the best look for the leader of the free world. We're talking about a potential diplomatic meltdown that could make the Cuban Missile Crisis look like a playground squabble. Imagine the outrage, the sternly worded letters from the UN, the endless loop of CNN panels dissecting every awkward handshake between world leaders. It would be a diplomatic dumpster fire visible from space, and not the fun kind that makes you want to grab marshmallows and a lawn chair. Chapter 3. Buried treasure, Greenland's natural resources. Okay, so maybe invading Greenland wouldn't be the best PR move, but what about the economic benefits? I mean, this is America. We love a good land grab, especially if it comes with a side of untapped resources. And boy, oh boy, does Greenland have resources. We're talking iron ore, uranium, rare earth minerals, the kind that make your smartphone light up and your electric car go vroom. It's like the periodic table threw up under a glacier. And America, with its insatiable appetite for, well, everything, suddenly got very, very interested. We're talking about the potential to reduce our dependence on, let's say, certain countries with questionable human rights records, and maybe even make a few bucks while we're at it. Suddenly, those icy plains start to look less like a frozen wasteland, and more like a giant resource-filled piñata, just begging to be whacked open. Chapter 4, on thin ice environmental concerns. But hold your horses, resource cowboys. Before we start digging up Greenland like it's the world's largest sandbox, let's consider the, shall we say, environmental implications, because let's be honest, extracting resources isn't exactly known for being gentle on the environment. We're talking about the potential for habitat destruction, pollution, and let's not forget the whole accelerating climate change thing, the issue that's causing all that ice to melt in the first place, the very reason Greenland is suddenly looking so strategically appealing. It's a bit like setting your house on fire to get rid of a spider infestation. Sure, you might solve one problem, but you've created a whole new set of, let's say, slightly more pressing concerns. Chapter 5, Beyond the Big Chill Economic Opportunities. But wait, there's more. It's not all just missile silos and mining operations. Greenland, believe it or not, has the potential to be an economic powerhouse in its own right. Think tourism, and I'm not just talking about those Arctic cruise to see the polar bears before they drown packages, although let's be honest, those are unfortunately becoming increasingly popular. Imagine sustainable energy projects powered by wind and geothermal energy, or a thriving fishing industry, sustainably managed, of course. Greenland could be a model for a new kind of green economy, a shining example of how to balance economic development with environmental responsibility. It's a chance for America to, dare I say, do some good in the world, to use its considerable resources, pun intended, to help create a more sustainable future. Outro. So should we pack our bags? So there you have it, the potential pros and cons of America taking over Greenland. On the one hand, you've got strategic advantages, untapped resources, and the chance to create a more sustainable future. On the other hand, you've got diplomatic chaos, environmental concerns, and the slight moral quandary of, taking over another country's territory. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, and frankly, it's one that's likely to be debated for years to come. Thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments what you think about America potentially taking over Greenland. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more insightful content.